Hello there, fellow NPCs. I am Scythe, and today we're going to continue to play the letter. In the last episode, we just missed the bloody lockers at St. Goretti's school, where Rebecca... Well, I forgot her last name. Rebecca works at Gales, that's her name. Let's see how the rest of her day turns out, if there's going to be more blood. All in all, the entire school day ends without a hitch. It could have gone better, mind you, but with the exams nearing, getting out of work before the sun has set looks as though it's a far-off dream for now. No. I did read this, I believe. About the lockers, didn't I? Oh, there it was. It doesn't even have a new update on it. So yeah. At least until they're over, then we have the holidays to look forward to. There really are times when you simply take what you can get for the time being.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing
wrong with that. All I'm hoping for is this will continue until the whole day ends. There's still a promise I made to Ashton, and frankly, the idea alone doesn't sound good. If Isabella didn't talk to them, what makes them think she'll talk to me? It's not like there's a hierarchy, is there? Just because I can handle Isabella's childish tendencies doesn't mean I can do it all the time.
Really, those two give me too much credit.
Nevertheless, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, if only because I'm also worried about her, and both Zachary and Ashton deem it important that somebody get the story out of her. Here's to hoping it's got nothing to do with the letter, again. I understand if she feels a bit stressed lately, but keeping that story going on for more than a week it's bound to get tiring at one point. Seriously, I merely don't want this to end in another argument. God willing, the cafe special will help smoothen things out. After all, it's always been food with her. Or money. But mostly food. Don't laugh behind people's backs. At this hour, the cafe is usually filled to the brim with people. That's the reason Isabella and I rarely ever go here during the evenings. It's simply too much of a hassle when we can prepare food ourselves in the comfort of our homes, and there really isn't much reason to eat out lately. What with life going on a busy streak? No time for long lines, better spend that doing something productive, yes?
Lucky there isn't one tonight.
That's lucky. Only a few people are idling around the counter. 4 of them, in fact. A woman in her 60s and a teenager boy busy with his phone. Both are just waiting to be served their orders. Oh. The other two, a posh-looking man and a child who I immediately recognize as Kylie, appear to have not yet picked anything they want. For some reason, my stare lingers at the guy. Though dressed relatively well and looks harmless, I haven't seen him around these parts before. Someone new in the neighborhood, perhaps. Even so, there's something familiar about him. Feels like I've seen him somewhere before. That also begs the question of why Kylie is with him. Of course, the girl easily takes a liking to anyone who buys her sweets, so it's both a bit worrisome and unsurprising. The blonde bloke doesn't look particularly thrilled with the company, though. I take my eyes away from them soon enough once the guy at the counter appears, ready to take my order. That, and I also hate to be accused of ogling strangers.
2, evening special, takeout.
He's already punching the order before I even finish. Saying my order out loud is really more for formality's sake and made out of habit. He has known Isabella and I long enough that if we ever drop by here, he already knows it's always because I'm buying dinner for the two of us. I rarely visit here alone if I can help it, but Isabella can sometimes be a bad influence. He gives me a small smile before leaving to prepare my order, while I fish for my wallet when...
Look, you little ankle biter. If I buy you the biggest parfait they have, will you please behave?
Wow, is he actually rude to Kylie to her face?
I would just like 10 minutes of peace and quiet.
You said you'll get me some bread pudding this time.
Yeah, well, darling, they said they ran out of it. Just pick another one so we can be on our way.
Their parfait doesn't look as cute as the one my mom bought me.
Parfait is just ice cream, sweetheart. It'll melt no matter how dainty it appears. In the end, it'll all look like an ugly puddle.
Yeah, it's easy to dislike Luke.
Now come on, just pick one. It could even be the most expensive one on that list. I don't give a shit. I don't care.
He does have some kind of manners, at least.
What I would give for someone to buy you off my hands right now.
What? My whole attention instantly snaps back to them and their conversation. Jumping to a conclusion isn't something I'm particularly fond of, especially when all I have are baseless assumptions. You can't really trust a stranger these days. No one around the cafe seems to have noticed his words either. Very suspicious words. Still, I don't move. Yet. But my hands has already shifted from my wallet to the book I'm carrying. A hardbound textbook. Looks harmless, but if a situation calls for it, it might be a good deadly weapon. Might. I haven't gotten this chance to try it anywhere so far. Today could be the day.
But you promised.
Look, if you don't want a parfait, how about a Bonifay pie? I'm sure it'll taste just as good as any other bread pudding. I'll even buy you the entire tray. How does that sound?
Yeah, that's the thing with Luke. He thinks he can just solve the problem with buying more. That does not work on children.
That's not what you said before.
Well, sweetheart, adults change their minds sometimes.
You said if I come with you, you'll buy me a bread pudding, and I did, and now you won't keep your promise.
If I come with you? Why did you volunteer to take her with you?
I want to go home. I miss my mom.
No, darling, if I remember correctly, and I have a good memory, honey. What I said was, if you come quietly with me, I might buy you one. The quiet part didn't happen. Though now that I'm sober, I think this is a bad idea. I should just ship you someplace else for that peace and quiet.
Oh, that's it. No hesitation. In a few paces, he's within my reach, and without warning, I'm slamming the flat area of the book against his skull.
Ow!
There's a cry of pain, followed by him instantly crouching down, hands nursing the sore spot. Almost comically, if this were a different situation and the safety of a St. Gorethe student isn't at stake, I'll probably feel sorry for him. I mean, has anyone seen how thick this book is?
Get behind me, Kylie.
Miss Pink!
It's amusing how fast her expression changes from the pouty one earlier to something that of utter delight upon seeing me. But there's no time for any pleasantries, not even quick ones, because soon the man straightens and I'm readying my favorite newfound weapon for another hit. Except this time, he's ready, and before I can land another one, his hand shoots out to catch my wrist in a firm hold. And the look on his face.
Bloody hell, woman, what's your problem?
I would say you're my problem, bitch! To say he's pissed would be a complete understatement. Had I been the weak-willed sort, I'd probably cower under his sharp gaze. But that simply isn't how I roll. If he thinks he can scare me and do as he pleases just because I'm a woman or whatever his reason may be, he's got another thing coming for him. So instead I return to him with the same intensity, with the same venom.
What's my problem? You're the one who has a problem here. Rotten bowbags like you don't deserve the freedom to run this town. What are you doing to this girl?
And why is that any of your business, pray tell?
Oh, it's my business if I make it to be.
Ooh, yes. That is how you should respond always. When if someone is being an ass and you have some way of handling it, you can always respond with, I am making it my business. I'm not strong enough for that, though.
Now, release me or I'll call the police.
Oh, you think that scares me, Daisy?
I have a name, you sleazy douchebag.
Oh, I'm sure.
His grips on my hand only tightens when I attempt to shake it off. His tone made rippling with anger and sarcasm, but the gleam in his eyes says it all. He's getting a kick out of this. Riling people up, getting on the nerves, invading their personal space. He knows exactly what and which buttons to push. The nerve of this person. The nerve of this arsehole! If he thinks I'm going to give in to this goading, please, I might as well just kiss his sorry behind. In fact, why not do the most sensible thing right now? Teach him a tough lesson. This is difficult, because shout for help is only gonna make him say things like, oh, you need help, of course a woman can't handle things on their own. Hit him where it hurts. If that is a physical thing, then we might scare Kylie. I think this is the best one either way.
Mister, you have until the count of 5 to let me go and step out of my personal space.
How does he respond to that? Yeah, Luke goes down. Fuck yeah. A fair warning. Fairer than any I can offer for people of his kind, and I'm already being considerate. Hell, this arsehole doesn't even deserve a warning. If he doesn't listen, he's as much responsible for what will happen next as anyone.
Or else what? Such vulgar words coming out of that pretty mouth. A gorgeous flower like you shouldn't even be saying.
Don't say I didn't warn you, Bowbag.
Bowbag.
Love that intensity, Daisy. FYI, I like feisty in a woman. It gives them this certain charm.
So, why... Yeah, that means you're only with Hana because of her money.
Why don't you?
5.
A second of silence. Nuts and bolts. Teach the pompous bastard a lesson he'll never forget. Then, without any preamble, my leg moves in one fluid motion and delivers a swift, powerful, well-placed kick to his nether regions. Needless to say, the effect is instantaneous. He yelps, abruptly drops his hold on me, and kneels over, howling from the pain. I can see tears forming at the corner of his eyes too, though the mere sight of it prompts not an ounce of remorse from me. I would have been gentler if he isn't such a dirty little prick with an ego too big for his head. Too bad. Whether this obliterates any chance of him ever procreating remains to be known, but a part of me already is praying he doesn't ever breed after this. We have no need of more of him in this world.
You mad woman!
I warned you, you ass!
Why, this is harassment, I'm telling you! Harassment!
Harassment. Harassment. Is that British?
Then why don't you tell that to the police once they get here,
You despicable! Whatever you're assuming I am, I'll have you know it's all in your head. None of it's true.
Gaslighting son of a bitch.
You best have that pretty brain of yours checked before that gets worse. What is wrong with you? Is this the face of someone who'd do anything suspicious?
Yes.
Oh? You don't think a stranger luring an innocent child with promises of sweets before whisking them away from their parents doesn't warrant any suspicion? You have a very funny definition of suspicious, asshole. Maybe you're the one who should have that head of yours checked.
The kid asked me to buy her sweets. You're the one who's suspicious here. I'll have you know, I have a wife.
That much at least appears to have a sliver of truth to it. He even makes a show of brandishing his left hand to my face with much flourish. Sure enough, a wedding ring is there, though all that earned him is an unimpressed glare from me. Immediately, a small part of me starts to feel sorry for whatever poor woman married his sod. I don't understand why he has to bring her up either, as if the mention of her alone will magically present a solution to his problem. She must truly be a remarkable woman if she can handle a dirtbag like him.
And even my wife of all people in this bloody city, has never, I'm telling you, accused me of such a scandalous thing! You crazy woman!
Married or not, you're still a sleaze. Honestly, I feel...
Miss Pink, why are you fighting with my Teal?
Whatever words still left to be said, they had dice on my tongue. The same thing goes for the sleaze. Besides us stands Kylie, gawking at us with the same curious stare she often brings with her. I know that looks all too well, a precious child through and through. She doesn't say anything further. Her gaze simply moves between us, eyeing us both carefully, clearly anticipating an answer. From my experience, when it gets like this with children her age, it's a sure thing they won't leave you until you've given them an answer they're satisfied with. Lying won't do either. It has dissolved into a shouting match, for heaven's sake. And did she just say Tio? Something falls straight to the pit of my stomach at that. But my tone is gentle when I finally address her, void of any apprehension of what might be the first hints of embarrassment. I promptly ignore the latter. I can very well be just hunger speaking.
Kylie, sweetie, do you know this oaf?
Yeah, he's Teal Luke.
Right at the moment, my brain stops. Every line of thought, every argument I still have against a man besides me dissipates in a haze. Amidst all of it, one memory gets triggered from a few days ago.
Tio? The one you mentioned before? The uncle? The guy Rowan wanted to impress? Or was that a dare? I'm sorry, I can't recall. Is it the one who promised he'll take Big Brother someplace cool?
Yeah, the one and the same. Don't you know who he is?
I sure as hell don't, darling. Because if I do, I wouldn't have let everything I've said earlier come out of my mouth.
He's my Teal Luke. Gazillionaire extraordinaire, am I? No, the fairy godfather.
Oh, he's your godfather. That's nice.
The one and only. Did I get that right, Tio?
More than right, sweetheart. I'm sure Miss Pink here understood everything you said quite perfectly.
Whatever it is that landed at the bottom of my stomach prior has shot straight up to my face and stayed there. The heat from it is slowly spreading to my cheeks, coloring my face in almost the same shade as my hair. If only the earth would swallow me whole here and now. His eyes are on me, I can feel them, jeering, mocking. I can't even bring myself to look at him. What's in there? Amusement? I doubt it. He's probably having the time of his life right now. But I know, I can hear the snare in his tone alone when he talks. He has that smug grin on him, which I may or may not want to punch off of his face at present, just for the hell of it. But damage control? I need to do some damage control before this whole thing goes south. Ooh, this is difficult. I think I don't even know how to think at the moment. But if we apologize to Luke, that will have repercussions throughout the game, I believe. And apologize to Kylie will pretty much keep us at the same place as we are right now. That's what I think. So I'm actually going to go to apologize to Kylie. Hehehe! He went even further down. Oh, he's gonna kill me later in the game. I've seen enough screenshots to know that might be a possibility. Of course, an apology is the most appropriate thing to say. But no matter how much I will do it, how I will myself to do it, my own body refuses to budge. My own mouth refuses to open and my head rejects the very idea of looking at him. No apology for an asshole. Not to someone with an ego too big for his head. Let his pride suffer. I am not going to eat my words for the sake of stroking his damn ego. less reason for him to gloat. Kylie, however, I only owe an explanation.
Don't worry, Kylie. I'm not fighting with your Tio. This is just a discussion. A very serious discussion between a very mature adult and one that's not.
Really? But I've never seen Tio angry before.
He's angry constantly, what are you talking about?
It's because he's losing the argument. But don't ever follow his example, Kylie. You should always learn to be patient, even if things aren't going your way, okay?
Yeah, that was the right choice, dragging Luke in the dirt.
Oh sure, a discussion. And it involves hitting random strangers you meet at a cafe with a book. A hard-bound book. Mind you, the little me hasn't recovered yet. If my future generation never survives from this, we are going to have more than words, woman!
You're not going to have a future generation, you don't want children. What the hell are you talking about? Are you just simply talking about sperm count? I don't allow Kylie hear his tirade and cover both of her ears with my hands. As fond as she is of this man, there are words she shouldn't be saying in front of a child. How can he not know about that? More importantly, how on earth did someone like him become a godfather? Who allowed it? Maybe I should talk to Miss Suarez about it. Warn her how he's not a good influence for her children.
Language! How can you use such crude words in front of her? Your goddaughter can hear you, for heaven's sake.
Oh, and you didn't. If I remember everything correctly, you called me a rotten beau.
So you're going to repeat it in front of her, just to make a point? What, are you 5? Even 5-year-olds are more sensible than you.
Even Isabella, I can say that with much certainty. Dude, you were so close and making a good point, and then you have to drag Isabella in the mud as well. What is wrong with this lady?
Even 5-year-olds are more sensible than you.
Yes.
See what I mean?
Are you fighting again?
Oh, no. Like I said, we were just having a discussion. We're actually done now. But you need to promise Miss Pink you will never grow up like this guy. Good kids don't do what he's doing.
But I like Tio.
And I'm quite sure Tio likes you too. But liking people is different. Just because you like him doesn't mean you have to be like him. There are better role models for you aside from him.
Like you?
Not exactly what I'm trying to get at, but if that's what you want, I don't see why not.
And here Luke responds with...
Okay, I want to be like Miss Pink someday. I want to be a teacher.
Okay.
And I promise I won't be like Tio, even if he's a gazillionaire.
Wow, turning my own goddaughter against me.
That's for the best.
How mature of you, Miss Pink.
His tone makes me pause. For the first time since this talk started, I look at him. Briefly, something flashes behind his eyes. Something close to what might be an expectations falling. Dismay? I can't be sure. It passes almost as soon as it appears. What's that about? Does he actually like having Kylie around? It doesn't seem like it from the get-go, but if that fond smile of him is anything to judge by, then maybe...
Don't worry, Tio. If you buy me bread pudding tonight, I'll like you again.
Aw, if that's all it takes, consider it done, sweetheart.
Fucking go and die, please.
We might have to find another place to buy it from, though. Somewhere safe, where a random crazy woman isn't going to attack us out of the blue. Let's go.
Okay. Bye, Miss Pink. I still like you, just not more than Tio anymore. See you.
Kylie's already pulling him to the cafe's exit before I can protest on it. Although it's not like there's anything to object on further. I may view that man, Luke, as someone hateful, maybe to the point of seeing him as an eyesore, but I don't think that'll ever have any bearing on what the child thinks of him. When you think about it, if she admires him so much like that, then maybe there's still something agreeable in him. A part of him only Kylie sees. He still has the gall to wink at me before the both disappear behind the door, so maybe not. However, there's no moment to ponder about it. Seconds later, the guy at the counter waves at me and hands me a paper bag as soon as I paid. He offers me another smile before I leave. Normally I return it simply for the sake of returning it, or I don't at all, with the latter happening more commonly. For the time being, I do so freely. After the encounter and the scene we've caused, seeing a friendly gesture being extended to me, albeit from a person I barely know on a personal level, it feels like a reassurance, despite bearing no promise of better days. I take what little I can of it with me as I step out into the night. A cloudless night sky greets me when I walk out of the cafe. Beyond the tall buildings, a blanket of stars spreads out before me. And what do I have to say about Uncle Luke? Bam! Bam, bitch! While lining up to buy dinner, Rebecca saw Kylie Suarez with a suspicious man. Assuming it was a kidnapping, Rebecca elected to take the matters into her own hands, only to find out that the man was the girl's godfather, Luke Wright. And embarrassed, Rebecca apologized afterwards. Isabella once told me that the best place to view it is someplace outside the city, away from the noise and the obtrusive lights. She'd seen it once in her mom's hometown, and another time in the university she used to attend. Then she asked if it's possible to try it out here sometime. I agreed with her at the time, if only because she appeared excited at the mere prospect of it. We made those little plans along with Zachary and Ashton. Though up until now, we never got around it. Even so, I found myself enjoying this, despite being told it's only half the experience. Little things, you know. Stuff you learn to appreciate when you're alone. Because at certain times, you get to meet people who are uncomfortably born with an innate talent to ruin the mood and the scene with their mere existence alone. For example, the very driver of the car fast approaching my direction. Luckily, he doesn't notice me. At the fleeting moment we pass each other by, gives me a brief glance at the people he's with. Kylie's sitting in the back seat with a serving of bread pudding in her hands. And beside him, it must be his wife. Oh, that is horrifying! That is so bad. Oh, that would actually be kind of cool. If my original idea about her being a teenager in the house and starting the whole thing, it's not been debunked, but it's still listen here. Had she been there as a teenager and her parents had exorcised the demon from her, and now the demon or ghost is back in her life, but because it's been exorcised, it's incapable of actually interfering with her, so it just hides in the background wherever without actually ever getting close to Rebecca, being more of a psychological threat than a physical one. That would be fucking amazing. I love that idea. Oh, someone needs to make that a story. The exact same story, but where the one of the haunted ones can't be haunted in the same way as the others. Ooh. So you just see glimpses everywhere and where. But throughout the night, the cursory glimpse of all things that to bother me has left me wondering what kind of person his wife is. And more than that, it's a silent prayer to the universe. I hope I don't ever cross paths with a douche again. After having such an eventful day, anyone would think nothing will surprise me anymore. But here I am, standing at the top of the stairwell, watching an odd scene unfold before me, Belief crossed my mind first, followed by confusion.
What is she doing there?
Although, given what happened this morning, the question feels a bit inappropriate to ask directly. What's important is Isabella's here. She's sitting cross-legged on the hallway, just right in front of her room, with several papers and folders scattered about. Each of them seem as important as the next. Oh, she's looking into the disappearance of her co-workers. Yeah. More than once, upon giving the scene a quick scan, I spot Briar Realty logo at the topmost area of the pages. Everything considered, it looks like a mess made by a third grader working on crunch time. The landlady will have a few things to say about this when she finds out. I have a few things to say about it myself, in fact. But something in the calm, focused manner she holds herself at present keeps me from disturbing her with that reminder. She's going through each paper with intensity. Her brows are furrowed, her lips in a tight line, both hands moving in precise movements as she shifts through each sheet. When she finds something of note, she moves closer, nose almost touching whatever paper she's holding, and grabs her phone to call someone.
Hello. Sorry to call you this late. There's something I just want to confirm, if that's okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thanks anyway. Not that one either.
It's a cycle. She goes through a call after call, and then after the last one ends, she shuffles through the pile again and dials another number. Is it work? I've never seen her this engrossed with her own work before, otherwise she would have noticed my presence the moment I reached her floor. After the 9th call, she still appears as oblivious to it as when I have arrived. When she lets out a sigh of this time, I immediately take that as an opportunity to interrupt.
Isabella, you know the house rules here.
At once, her head jerks back and hits the concrete wall behind her with a thump. That's Isabella, I know, glad it's still there. I allow for her for a moment to nurse it before speaking again.
Becca, you're late.
Yeah, I ran into a little trouble at the cafe. But I brought food for the two of us, if you haven't eaten anything yet.
As anticipated, she grins once I raise the bag of food I'm holding. Yet it doesn't reach her eyes. There's nothing of the cheerful glint in it this time. Just a hollow tone for the sake of being polite. Ashton's right. Something's happened.
Yeah, maybe later. I've gotta finish this first. Just leave it here. I'll eat it once I'm done. Thanks, Becca.
You can't eat this here. You know how the landlady would react.
Well, it's not your business to take care of her. She can handle herself. Stop being so annoying.
Why are you even working outside? Your room's right there.
I know. Sorry. It just feels stuffy in my apartment right now.
Well, that could be fixed if you cleaned it up. Not that I have much to say on the matter.
I'll go back inside once everything's been aired out. I promise.
That has never bothered you before.
Well, it bothers me now.
Oh, really? Just now? I find that hard to believe.
Yeah? Shouldn't you be happy? I mean, you've been complaining even if it's not your room. Now I know how you're feeling when it's messy, so I'm going to clean. Isn't that a good thing?
In spite of what's supposed to be good news, an exhale comes from me, drawn out and slow.
It's a good thing, Isabella. Believe me. But you're as bad as Zachary at lying. What's really going on?
She hastily averts her eyes, a surefire indicator that this is going to be one of those lengthy conversations that can possibly end with the other person angry. Again. There's one thing I'd like to avoid tonight, at all costs. Still, I've made a promise to Ashton and Zachary. If she didn't talk to them, who else is she going to talk to? If she keeps this all to herself, who knows what might happen?
Isabella, you can tell me. Is it about your family?
A slight movement of her lips, although a frown. It's a reaction at least. I'm getting there.
Rose?
She merely shakes her head. Just a little more.
Come on, I know something happened. I don't know if it's because of Rose, but I know it's related to her somehow. You weren't here when I visited this morning, and both Zachary and Ashton are worried about you. If you don't want to tell them, you can tell me.
I'm not sure we can tell Rebecca, because she's a mean person.
Does it have something to do with work? Office?
If I didn't know her, I might have missed it. She shifts then, her fist clenched tight and the teeth biting her lower lip. Her fist clenching tight and teeth biting her lower lip. And there's fear. The look of terror in her is the last thing I expected to see out of everything. Her mouth trembles briefly before she opens them. When she finally voices it out, the words simply spill out of her mouth. One after another. All of it. True to what I promised her, I'll listen. Because this is something she's been keeping to herself, even from the two most dependable people I know. The fact she chooses to tell me this speaks a lot to me.
Becca, she was there again.
Oh.
Last night? In the office? Boss passed me all of Rose's workload yesterday. For the Ermengarde mansion. I had to stay late to finish them all. And then, when I was about to go home, I saw her.
Yeah, that was the last episode with Isabella.
I saw her again. She was standing in front of me again last night, Becca. I couldn't get away. She was blocking the door. If I hadn't hidden myself, even if I made the tiniest noise, if she found me.
Yeah, I did die once doing that.
Becca, she almost did. If she saw me under my table, I think that would have been the end of it. I'm scared. I'm so scared I won't be able to do anything.
By the end, her hands are trembling and her breathing comes out in rasping intervals. For a long moment, I let the silence stretch out between us, let her sobs fill it instead. But even as her soft whimpers die down minutes later, there's heaviness hanging in the air. Not just from her, but also from me. From my exasperation over this whole matter, from my own frustration over her stupid superstitions, when she could do all of us a favor and grow a backbone. She may be young, but she's no longer that young. Thank you! It's about time to put an end to this. She can't keep going on like this. She's still got plenty of years to live out. And what if she goes home? What if we're no longer there to keep her fears in line with what's real? What would she do then? I'm more afraid for her, for what that kind of imagination will do to her, than of what some imaginary monster could. Okay, so you're not speaking as, you accept that you can't coddle her anymore. You're berating her because you can't coddle her anymore. But with the manner she's looking at me right now, there's an expectation in it, a hope and a plea, sewn together. She wants me to believe her this time. If it's like that, then what am I supposed to say now? What she wants to hear, or what she needs to? This again, that's actually super rude. So let's just go with this one. Is this why you didn't go home last night? Yeah, now we're at normal again with Isabella. That's interesting. You claim to like... No, Isabella and Ashton likes you equally much. That's what it says. With that powdered face she's giving me, I doubt it'll even end well if I push it. I know her. When she wants to be stubborn, she's stubborn. But there's a moments when she can be acquiescing too. Time when she'll be more accepting of what I tell her despite her inclination to disagree with it. That talk can wait. In the meantime, I'll be the ear that listens to her without judging her, without criticizing her despite my own opinions on it.
You should have called me.
She stares at me like I've grown another head, and the laughter slips out before I can stop myself.
There? I can't do that! What will you do? Hit her with a book? You'll be dead before that happens. And...
That isn't what I'm talking about. After you got out, you should have phoned me. You didn't have to go to Zachary's.
The corners of her mouth curl up, a sheepish smile, by general definition, but this is Isabella. Her smiles are never half-hearted, never lacks her high spirits. In spite of this, I know everything's going to be okay. Somehow. After all, she's learned how to pick herself up long ago, long before we met.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I don't even remember how I ended up in Zach's place. I was in a hurry to get out of the office, and it was already late.
Yeah.
Besides, I don't really think you'll believe me if I wake you up over something like that.
Yes! Burn, Rebecca!
That's beside the point. True or not, there are people who will always be concerned about you. There's Zachary, but he's the first person you went to, and you didn't tell him anything. You just slept there. There's Ashton too, and me. But how do you think I'll be able to explain to your aunt or your family if you suddenly disappeared? Think about that.
Right. I'll remember that next time.
Then she grins. Playful and mischievous, a preamble to an old banter. It's still not quite there, still not quite her usual self, but with it, I know we're bound to get her back soon. Mom.
I told you not to call me that.
Then stop pretending to be her mom. I send an elbow to her side for added measure, but when laughter follows the familiar gesture, none of it is unexpected. This is what's comfortable. This is how we found an equal ground despite our stark differences. So for the moment, I accept things as they are. Afterwards, a hush stretches out before us. For Isabella, this is rare. This isn't her. Yet in this moment, as she feels with the edge of another paper near her, and she hugs her knees close to herself and let a pensive expression linger on her, it feels strangely fitting. As if this is where everything's supposed to lead if we allowed it long ago. Seconds later, the moment is broken by the sound of a door easing up and a voice begging some little peace.
How many times have I told you girls not to loiter around the hallway? It's noisy. Some people here are trying to sleep. Quiet down or go do your talking inside. I'm pinning a memo to your door the next time this happens. Millennials.
Sorry, we won't do it again.
You'd better.
The door closes and Isabella started gathering the mess she made, carefully stacking them all in her arm. At a loss for what to do, I help her pick them, and for the first time I get a closer look at it. Completely unintentional, of course. But it catches my attention, nevertheless, and a confused frown makes its way to my face. Why is she looking through this? I look to her for an explanation, but she merely ignores the question in my eyes, takes the paper off my hands and finishes cleaning up. The last paper she puts on top is a letter. The one she supposedly found in the mansion was probably the root cause of this old behavior. I shoot her a question and look for that too. But all she gives me is a smile. And in a halting tone, so completely unlike her.
Becca, I'll find a way out of this. You guys don't have to worry about me. Anyways, I should go. I'll see you later.
Where are you going?
Getting myself some food. Don't wait for me.
Isabella walks away before I can stop her, before I can remind her I brought food enough for the two of us. She quickly disappears down the stairwell, while I'm left standing in an empty hallway holding 2 bags of takeout. One of them will go uneaten tonight. Just an innocent passing thought. One that I don't dwell much on as I head back to my room. I ignore all of it, in the same way I've assumed I won't have encountered that douche again. What do we have to say now? There we go. Rebecca found Isabella going through several papers outside their apartment. When the farmer asked her why she didn't come home the other night, the latter confessed she saw the ghost once again, before leaving. Before leaving, Isabella assured her friend that she'd find a way out of this mess. October 27th, Thursday. St. Goretti High School. Yeah. And that is where I cut off for today's episode. It is not picking up in any way. We're just skidding along, you know, walking around the entire town. The ghost is not here for Rebecca Gales just yet. So this is going to take some time before shit hits the fan. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. And if you want to watch anything else that I've been playing, you can find it at the bottom of the screen. And remember, just because you're not the main character doesn't mean you're not important. Goodbye, everyone.